Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. Jack Zhao saying hello to you, to my fellow Americans, joining me in the discussion about the racial slur used by Bob Beckel at the Fox show. It is quite a headache that people keep on wondering why in a society when equality is written in the Constitution, when equality is written word by word in laws under this beautiful flag of ours, still such things occur, right? So today, joining me is my good friend, Dr. Fu, Peter Fu, in the discussion. And also, Dr. Peter Fu, not only is he a scientific researcher and with lots of doctrines that he established himself, but also he is a entrepreneur, and his entrepreneurship is so good, so excellent. At the times, he hires as many as 30 employees, right?
At a peak time.
At a peak time,
yes.
That indicates how successful you are, or at least you have been. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and glad to be here every time. I think this is probably the fifth or sixth talk about very important issues. So when I heard about this particular incident, I'm extremely upset and disappointed. I think we need to tell the American people, the world, and the Chinese people as well, how this could have happened, and we're going to analyze it from different level, before, now, and in the future.
Yeah, exactly. For the past few days, I have been doing shows, collecting statements from different angles, all kinds of people from different areas of expertise. No matter what they do, they share the common sense, the basic common sense that it is very discriminative. It is offensive to almost everybody because we adore equality, right? So what is your first impression when you first heard about it?
Well, you know what? First, I'm extremely disappointed that the Fox News, Mr. Bob Beckel, would say discriminatory languages on a public TV. And also, subsequently, he said he would apologize, but that did not look like a sincere apology.
No, that's not an apology at all.
On the other hand, I don't think it's surprising that a smaller percentage of Americans did not know exactly what exactly the political and economical relationship with China. This is why that I'm going to present some of the factual numbers. I think when they don't understand each other, they're more likely to misunderstand each other. When they misunderstand each other, then they become ignorant, and they will say things in a discriminatory, prejudice way. Just like when I first came to the U.S. in 29 years ago, and they would hold one of my suit and to say, "Wow, you were dressing a nice suit. Did China make this?" So, of course, we the Chinese, we said we make clothing all the time, whether the suit and ties, everything. So I say, yeah,
we do rockets
of course
too.
we do that. And and also one of the graduate students who also came into the state together, almost together in the similar time, and he's in the geography department, also doctoral students. So they're studying.
What school did you go?
SIU, Southern Illinois University.
I see.
So, you know what, and overall, I think Americans are extremely friendly. And I have to say that I'm extremely thankful for all the people, whether from the professors, the civilians, the U.S.-China Friendship Associations, they're extremely helpful, and I'm deeply, really thank them forever.
All right.
And they help a lot of Chinese students too. So, The other graduate student who was in the geography department, you know, they're studying the geography, the water system, the control, and I think one of those days, and they're talking about water control systems, that are talking about water meters. So I think the professor asked the student, of course in 1985, there was not a lot of Chinese students, graduate students coming here.
See. Of course,
as a matter of fact, I was the first one to be admitted at SIU at the microbiology department.
You must be very outstanding.
So they were surprised, you know, about my English, and but the student, you know, the professor asked the student in the geography class and say, does China make the water meter control system? So my friend and colleague, we also came from the same university from China, the Northeastern Normal University, they call it NANU, and he was really upset. He's more direct than me. You know what he said to the professor? He said, "Professor, China makes atom bombs. So you don't think they can make a water meter control system?" So the professor immediately said, "Oh yeah, you're right. You know what?" So I think that just said how much they don't know about the China then. And at this moment, you know, with the 30 years of open door with the China and the U.S. Economical, political exchanges, they know a lot. I think a lot of people know a lot. But then again, some of the media still did not portray as practical as they should be. This is why we're going to analyze with some of the numbers.
Excuse me. Here's my take. I believe ignorant people are getting, the numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The so-called ignorant. Because with the news media, they're covering this much these days. If you do not read if you do not watch TV, you can read paper. If you do not read paper, you can play with your cell phone at least, right? So there is no way you're not knowing about that one thing for sure. Time has changed, right?
Definitely.
Okay, now, and for a show host like Bob Beckel, he must know that what China and the United States are doing now, because he does the news on a day-to-day basis. Obama visited Beijing 2 years ago, and he's planning another one. And the China President Xi Jinping visited the United States, and he's planning another one. Right now, this very moment when Bob Beckel was making his Slur statement, they are the two leaders of the leaders of the two countries, or meeting for exactly the culture exchange programs, right? So for him, a person so well informed, at least he's as well informed as I am, Jack Zhao is, right? So for him to say something of that quality, that indicates only one thing to me. To the bottom of his mind, there is an area, a so dark area that says discrimination. Do you think so?
Well, absolutely. You know what? People like Mr. Bob Beckles, I'm sure that he read news, statistics, and
he does news.
And there's a lot of economical news, and all the researchers knows, and newspaper report it. I think he's aware of that also. Whether he has a dark part in his mind and with a discriminatory point of view, or he's simply prejudiced about the Chinese and the Chinese American, I'm not too sure. But the fact that he's saying that, I think one of the reasons is that I think he was trying to please some of the small percentage of Americans, because you know, some of the media were saying that there's what is called a deficit between China and the U.S. But in fact, the U.S. benefit more compared to the China. Just to give you one of the examples, the U.S. export to China from 2004 to 2014 has increased 255%. And the U.S. export to China so far is next to, say, Canada and Mexico.
Probably we should keep those numbers, the statistics, to the next segment.
Okay.
While we wrap up this segment, we want to make one point clear that being a host of such a big media, such as Fox News, he must be well informed with everything going on in the world, including China-United States relationship, number one, right? Number two, on the average, for a public media, it requires, of course, you do not have to make your own decision about what's right, what's wrong. At least you have to have a mind that's full of sunshine. Am I right?
Well, totally. You know what? There's a public view and there's a private view.
Yeah.
And also there's something that you can say at home with your close family.
Yeah.
There's something that you can say in front of the TV in the public. And you know what? Personally, I don't think Mr. Bob Beckel is absolutely a bad, horrible person. I mean, but the way that he say things in the public, that it is detrimental.
We can, very
definitely deliver a wrong message
very much so.
to the public.
If probably we can, just to be fair to him, right? We can go step by step. At least one thing for sure, that he is a man with a very loose lips.
Exactly.
Right?
It does. It's exactly.
Okay, now, you might be a man with a very loose lips, but you lose only for the positive things, right? And then he lose his loose lips for saying negative things, and he lose his lips negatively. Number two, right? Number three, there are lots of positive things between United States and China. Why can't he see? All right. And number four, equality, to treat people equally, is written in the Constitution. As a media man, he has to know that. Why does he ignore that? Calling people names is offense. It's a serious offense. It's a crime, if not too, not overstressing too much, right? So let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out from Dr. Fu what exactly those numbers will tell people, at least will tell that the Bob Beckel guy, while there are lessons to be learned. So stay